How's it going? Hello and welcome to the eCom Ops podcast. My name is Norbert and today I'm talking to Jesse Horwitz. Hi, how are you, Jesse?
Great. How are you doing today, Norbert?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, as usual. Um, Tell us a bit about yourself. How have you been started into e-commerce?
Sure. I was on the investment side before this. I was at a fund called Bridgewater, then on the investment team for Columbia University's endowment, where I did undergrad. One
Oh,
of my
cool.
friends from Bridgewater ended up at Harry's shave subscription site, and he's how I got into e-commerce. So he was looking at contact lenses as a subscription category in late 2015. We started poking around on it together early 2016. It was a good time to be out looking to start a box subscription business on Facebook. It was what the world wanted. So we raised money in May 2016, launched in October, and been live for 3.5 years, a little bit more.
Wow, that's great. And I've seen that you wrote a book, Selling
I
Naked.
did. Wrote a book called Selling Naked with Penguin Random House. Pretty much everything you need to know about building your own direct brand Shopify business. So fundraising, testing ideas, finding suppliers, marketing, sort of soups to nuts, how to get something stood up on your own, financing, if I didn't say that already,
That's
um,
great.
all the different pieces.
And where can I get that book?
You can get it on Amazon.com, little known independent online bookstore.
Okay, perfect. What is your current e-commerce tech stack? What do you use? So Shopify, okay, but what's the rest?
Super boring. Shopify, Stripe, recharge for the subscription plugin. Obviously, a lot of Facebook and Instagram on the ad side. Heroku from Salesforce as our servers. That's Twilio, Zendesk. Pretty much exactly what you would expect.
Yeah. And do you all sell on any platforms or is it just a store?
We on Hubble, we've tested a little bit Amazon in Germany,
Yeah.
but pretty much it's just the store. We're involved in some other e-commerce businesses. None of them have gone to Amazon. I think everybody's pretty much just selling through their own stores right now.
hmm And how do you get your traffic and your sales? So how do you get the people on your store?
Sure, Facebook and Instagram's definitely our
Yeah.
biggest channel. Um, you know, paid social, Google, Bing, some affiliate, some TV. We've tested pretty much every channel though. We've done podcast, radio, Pinterest, Twitter, Snap. We haven't tested TikTok. We haven't done out of home. So we've shoved dollars everywhere, and it's just hard to beat Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, that works best for you, right?
Yeah.
I think so. And most people have great success when it comes to B2C on Facebook and Instagram. This really works very, very well. And if it are specific niches, you see this and there another channel. But this is if you want to win new customers that haven't seen about you, this I think is really a good chance.
Yeah,
Um,
we say when folks are starting businesses, no sense at the start putting energy into anything other than Facebook and Instagram because it's hard to think of that many businesses that work that don't have Facebook and Instagram as a meaningful part of their media mix. Certainly, oh, sorry, go for it.
what a role does Google Shopping and Google Ads play for your company?
We're just testing into Google Shopping now. Non-branded search is meaningful for the business. Google Shopping, I'm also involved in a stroller business called Mockingbird and a swim business called Andy. Google Shopping dominates the Google spend, I think, on those, but it's a bit smaller for us and something we're excited to hopefully scale up.
Mhm. And do you have any specific person in your team that is focusing on operations?
Sure, our team's around 25 or so.
Great.
We have a head of supply chain named Emily and a person named Courtney reporting up to her. And then depending on how broadly you define ops, we have a 4-person finance team. And then sort of probably a dozen folks. I'm sorry, that's just my dog in the background. about a dozen folks, sort of different operational support roles.
Hmm. He's great. He or she?
Mildred, she.
Mildred. She. Very nice.
Mildred, you're facing the wrong way.
Yeah. Take a look here.
Say hi, little girl.
Oh
No,
yeah.
she's guarding me from the door. The dog next door might bark, and that would be terrible. And she has to protect.
Okay. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah,
Good job, lady. Good job.
good job.
Um, what do you do that to ensure your customers that they always have a constant awesome experience? What do you do for them?
I mean, we're a fairly high volume customer service business because it's a complicated category and we're subscription. And so it's building sort of a scalable organization has been really important to us so that we have fast response times. I'd say that, it varies category by category. If you're moving $1,000 items like a mattress or something, you're
Yeah,
probably focused on being super high touch per ticket, but ticket volume per ticket volume's lower. We're relatively high ticket volume, and so we're very focused on making sure that we're getting fast, accurate information to people to help them out.
yeah. And did you face any significant downtime or disruption of the service recently?
We have we we have a lot of we have some central customer experience folks, but a lot remote and a lot of freelancers. And we've had, in general, it's been pretty good. We've had some stretches with sort of COVID interruptions or internet interruptions during this period, and a little bit higher than normal. But the agents have pushed through really hard to help, to generally stay on top of volume.
Yeah, I think you have a very stable product. So did you see any increase in sales during Corona? Or
It's been, it's generally been a good acquisition environment. I think that's generally true across e-commerce players. One of the things that's like a bit tough to tell, I'm sure you've seen it, that chart going around of that sort of hockey stick thing is,
yeah,
I'm still not sure how much. Certainly, e-commerce is up, and we've seen that across the different businesses we're involved in. How much of that chart is, for folks who haven't seen it, it's just e-commerce sales taking 20 years to go from 0 to 16% and then going to 29% of retail or something in a month. How much of that is that e-commerce is up a ton, and how much of that is that the denominator, which is total retail, is just down a lot? Because you could tell me that e-commerce is up, 10, 20%, and I would believe that as sort of industry-wide outperformance. Or you could tell me it's up, 40 or 50%, and I'd probably believe that too. And I haven't seen as much data along those lines.
yeah. Well, we are seeing somewhere between 20 to 30%.
That
Um,
sounds about right.
yeah, yeah, and that's interesting. Well, the question is if people stay in e-commerce more, because they now seen that it's also for them who did not so much shopping, or if it was just during Corona because the stores have been closed and they couldn't go elsewhere. So it would be
Yeah,
interesting to see if it stabilizes somewhere in some kind of growth.
for sure. And you see something like Wayfair, which was down 80% and is now, it's fallen off a little bit, but was at all-time highs again. You see sort of these things that go crazy. And I think it will be very interesting category by category, which experiences consumers are less keen on, as not post-corona, but during what feels like this long stretch where things aren't, normal again.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think it'll be particularly interesting in some of the consumer health categories, because you probably have folks, you think about what feels like riskier interactions. Going into a retail store feels riskier right now, but certainly anything where you're having person-to-person contact, which happens in a lot of this sort of consumer health settings, is there more telemedicine uptake because of that? I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. And what role does automation play? Um, for your company?
You know, it's always tough to say, right? Because what counts as automation? I'd say in general we're never that keen to automate something right away because we want to see that it's a high volume process that we're going to have on a repeat ongoing basis for a while. And because, we're generally skeptical, automation isn't easy. And getting a task well automated takes a while.
Yeah.
And so it's both. I think oftentimes people get overexcited about the delta in savings and quality and all the rest of automation versus, sort of lower cost, human labor. And so I think there's that piece of it. And then I think the other piece of it is, even if you do want to automate something, you have to understand it really well first. And so having the feedback from humans doing the task, so you understand exactly all the edge cases, nooks and crannies to automate, generally, seems helpful.
How do you, for instance, do the shipping? Do you do it yourself? Do you have a warehouse?
We work with 2 3PLs, one in Indiana, one in the Netherlands. I honestly, I don't think, I'm sure both of them are investing in automation over time. Both of them are very competitive on price, and I don't think either of them is, super automated relative to what you'd see in like an Amazon warehouse or something like that.
And do you send the orders via API, or do they copy
Yes.
paste from the email? Yeah, via API.
Yeah. We're doing, we're processing thousands of orders a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's tough. It's tough to say, like, what part of the flow in the funnel are we talking about automation? Because people, is it back end automation? Is it chatbots and things like that on the front end, where we haven't done as much? We've done a little bit.
Yeah. And how about your accounting? Is it done through Shopify? Do you use the Shopify onboard to onboarding things to send invoices and everything kind of stuff, or do you have any external software that is somehow?
No, I should know this. I think we were using QuickBooks. I think we're using something else.
Yeah.
I think, it's we are venture backed, and I think one of the things that comes along with taking venture money is is sort of venture level financial reporting, and so that's that's something that's
exactly what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's something with this as an obligation for the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what will you focus on next 12 months? What's your goals?
Oh boy, it's really tough to say right now because it just looks like a different business than it did 3 months ago. And so I'd say, like, we're definitely managing more day to day than we were previously, just because it's a more dynamic backdrop. And we're trying to understand, where CPM is going to be channel by channel or whatever. We have no ability to predict where CPMs are channel by channel today and what we should be bidding. Where, especially for subscription business, where is retention going to be, which is very confusing right now because you have, I don't know whether it's just, more savings because less consumer spending, or it's the unemployment checks, or what's going on, but it's generally been, a relatively, or just different consumer behavior, and we're acquiring different people because of the backdrop. But it's generally been a good retention environment, and so that's very confusing. You could see that getting worse if stimulus rolls off. So there's there's just so much uncertainty right now about kind of what the next 12 months brings. Certainly in more interesting ways than the contact lens world, but
yeah. Okay, last question. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Sure. I'm always super curious, and we certainly did not do this. We've raised like 75 million or so. people who built really great direct brands, not bootstrap, but but with much lower levels of financing. So whether that's like Moise Ali over at Native Deodorant or Dave Heath over at Bombas, like you know what creates capital efficiency in the space, and sort of when we started the business, there was kind of one set of role models, and it was the Dollar Shave Clubs and Harry's of the world who were incinerating money. And
Mm.
I, in a very positive way, hopefully, certainly for me, but hopefully generally for the space, who people are really looking to learn from aren't aren't sort of venture gluttons, and are people who manage their capital efficiently as they're scaling their business.
Very interesting. Really, really, really interesting. Thank you so much for your time. It was really great. I learned much again today. So you really scale. You play with big numbers. This is very, very interesting. I would check out your book, and
Selling naked.
yeah, and hopefully a lot of the listeners will do as well. So selling naked on Amazon, from Jesse Horwitz. So get it and read it. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
good luck.
Have a good one.
Bye.